The allure of DIB that made many of us forego promising paths in JC was to be entrepreneurs. The closest module that brought us to be one was BMD. To me, BMD was a module that stood out as it edified me greatly. My first discovery was how proper design thinking can make solid innovations. I joined Enactus in year 1 and there were workshops that taught DT to innovate for social causes. However, our team came up with the solution even before knowing the problem. We started off similarly for BMD, throwing ideas for our customers without knowing our customers properly. When we were sent to collect observations, we did not perform it properly. We tainted our observations with judgment. The solution of a snack box was already prescribed. We sent ourselves to places to observe happenings relevant only to the solution. It was a sort of reverse engineering when we took a focus on food and disregarded other user needs. For me, I was sent to FC4 to do my observations. I observed that single persons eating alone were flanked by empty seats far away from other people. I then inferred insights: when people are alone, they tend to sit far away from strangers and needed space socially appropriate for them. I saw the importance of untainted observations. Observations that describe the subject as it is, not what we infer is happening from our point of view. It is similar to the story of 4 blind men and an elephant. When 4 men touched different parts of an elephant, they made inferences. The one touching the tail inferred that it was a rope. The one touching the legs inferred that it was a tree. The one touching the nose inferred that it was a snake, and the one touching the ears inferred that it was a palm. The blind men are searching for the truth that what they are touching is an elephant. But their inferences are far from the truth. The truth is that the tail is slender and rope-like, but not a rope. The legs are sturdy, but not a tree. The nose long and moving, but not of snake, and the ears floppy, but not a palm. We are like the blind men, striving to know the truth, which is perfect empathy with our target user needs. When we make inferences and prescribe solutions, we are like the blind men deciding that the tail of an elephant is a rope. We need untainted observations. That the tail is slender, not of snake. If the blind men came together and shared the findings with one another, they can collectively draw insights revealing them closer to the truth. It is a process of synthesizing insights for these observations. What we're dealing with are human needs and not elephants. Design thinking is a human-centric approach. We need to empathize with our user needs, and we came up with the insight that the people were eating because they were hungry. To put it bluntly, we basically went to watch people eat and focused on that, then we described them as that they were eating and inferred that they were hungry. So we drew insights that they needed to satisfy the hunger in a hassle-free way. This then, in time to come, led us to describe our solution that is, simply put, a food. Nothing much different about the food, it just solves the problem and adds in more variety. That's all. We coated the crude solution with fanciful-sounding value propositions that weakly resonates. Some of my friends do not believe that design thinking is necessary for a successful business. And that's true to an extent. Drug cartels did not use design thinking. However, I believe strongly in proper design thinking as a powerful modern framework for the innovation of a resonating business model. When we presented in CA1, we were given a wake-up call. After which, we sought to improve our innovation. We were taught the hard way about design thinking. We conducted another round of empathizing with our users. We went away with the food courts and went to social media. This was the part where my team and I had been resourceful, in the sense that we were really endowed to conduct empathy studies in social media. Except that in the past, before BMD exposed us to proper design thinking, we did it with lots of inferences or judgment. I was literally scrolling through Instagram and seeing how Sumi went to Japan. All these gave us valuable insights that defined our customers better. Not to discredit our presented business model of the subscription boxes. But there might have been innovations better than subscription snack boxes we could have arrived at had we not prescribed a subscription box initially. And with the other innovations their own set of challenges and advantages for us to diverge and converge in advancing it. It was truly a series of divergence and convergence that led us to evolve to the model presented. Details from small to great were changed. For the number of snacks, the qualities we are looking for in snacks, the prices, channels, augmented product, etc. But all of it was still in the narrowed scope of the subscription boxes we have prescribed from the beginning. So proper design thinking was still helpful. It helped us to empathize with our customer needs better and solidify our value proposition around satisfying consumer travel desires despite a narrowed scope of ideation within subscription boxes. With that, we went on to document down our business model based on BMD theory. This led me to my second most significant discovery. A strong value proposition is important. In the conversion of a customer, the product must resonate, substantiate, and differentiate. We were taught 3 types of value proposition: all benefits, point of difference, and resonating focus. When we had our first subscription snack box idea, we had in mind for it to be a resonating focus value proposition, as Mr. So told us it was the best, but it was a weak all benefits value proposition. We went on proposing that we can fulfill hunger in a hassle-free way where people do not get to choose, and we gave them a variety. It resonated fulfilling hunger, but undifferentiated that consumers can easily buy other kinds of foods from the many canteens and stores to solve the need of filling the hunger. It was not substantiated, as it does not justify how consumers who want to fulfill hunger in a hassle-free way will want to pre-order a snack box ahead of time for a premium price. It was antithetical, in fact, that we said we are going to provide a hassle-free experience when we provide the consumers with more hassle to have to decide that they need to pre-order ahead of the hunger. In our enhanced idea, it had a more compelling value proposition. It was a resonating focus value proposition. It goes the world in a box to satisfy the consumer need of wanderlust. I can tell a tremendous difference between our second value proposition from the first one. Personally, I was convinced of the value proposition. It resonated with me, and I believe it will with our customer target. Even when I knew the cost breakdown, I saw worth in buying that box. It was an experience in addition to the snacks itself. And as for competition, it was highly differentiated. I believe that the second value proposition will have conversion of non-users much better than the original value proposition. This theory of value proposition applies to many other aspects of our lives too. It may be explicitly useful for us to be entrepreneurs in the future, but it also useful in areas we may not yet see. When we graduate, we are to become employees. The employers are our customers, and we are marketing our labor to our employers. We can craft a value proposition to be the employee that provides all benefits, the employee that works better than other colleagues, or the employee that deliver best to the boss's needs. In the conversion of our customers to get employed or to get a promotion, we need to resonate that we are endowed to relate to the post's needs, that we are the most suitable candidate, and that the wages they pay are worth our labor. If we can craft a strong value proposition for our employers, who are the customers buying our labor, it will really help advance our careers. Knowing this theory of value proposition allows us to define ourselves better, to propose our worth to our customers. Our customers can be more than employers offering wages. It could be friends offering the time, girlfriends offering the relationship, teachers offering the grades. The value proposition is a versatile theory to define the worth of an offering. If we can perceive ourselves to be businesses, it is applicable readily elsewhere. My third significant discovery was the usefulness of the business model canvas. It can be daunting to even think of starting a business. We might have a solid value proposition, but what is the next step to take? Have we missed anything out? Have we not considered certain parts? What if in a week's time I forget what I originally planned? The BMC is a snapshot, an overview of the entire business. It is easily done in at most 30 minutes and is a comprehensive guide to what the business is about. It lightly shows the desirability, the feasibility, and viability of the business. The strategic canvas from the customer segment to the value proposition can show the desirability of the business. It describes the customers and how they interact with the value proposition. The operational canvas from the key partners to the value proposition can show the feasibility of the product. It lists the activities, resources and partners and shows if the value proposition is possible to be delivered. The financial canvas shows the viability of the business. It shows whether it makes sense to be selling the value proposition and whether it is profitable. This tool of the BMC truly is helpful to give an overview of the entire business and provide information on whether the business works. It helps to summarize the different crucial aspects of the business into a comprehensive but lowly detailed snapshot. Alluding to the story mentioned above about the 4 blind men and the elephant. Often we are like the blind men who focus on certain parts of the elephant without the complete picture that what we were touching was the elephant. We focus on certain parts of the business without being aware of the entire business. The BMC is like a mini figurine of the entire elephant for the blind men to be aware of the elephant as a whole. That was something I was guilty of. In the initial stages, we focused on certain aspects and lost sight of the direction the business was going to. It sounded good to have a value proposition where we provide hassle-free experience to our customer segment that wanted to be free from hassle. But when we were doing our channels, we lost sight of the being hassle-free and went on with a subscription system that would cause hassle. Should we have used the BMC, we might see wholly how the parts do not add up to a congruent business model. Being part of an actus, I used to see the BMC is a not so important way of presenting the business model for people lazy to sit through an entire presentation. I was so wrong. The BMC is an extremely useful tool for entrepreneurs and business people. It was so relevant to social entrepreneurship in an actus. While seeking to solve a social issue, many often neglect the other aspects of the business as a whole. Take for example, wanting to help a low-income beneficiary by having them work in the business. However, one might forget about the product. So the beneficiaries get employed to make a product which value proposition does not sell to the customer segments. Being caught up in innovating a solution at the key activities and key resources side. The innovator neglected the desirability of the business as a whole at the customer segments and value proposition side. Having consistently a BMC by the side might have helped the innovator be reminded of the trinity of desirability, feasibility and viability of the business as a whole. BMC simplifies the description of a business model seemingly so daunting and wearying. It provides an overview of a business as a whole, helping the entrepreneur not to lose sight of the business as a whole when strategizing certain aspects. With this experience in BMD that made me appreciate the usefulness of the BMC, it will be helpful should I endeavor into social entrepreneurship. BMD had truly been a module that edified me greatly in the training to be a businessman and an entrepreneur. It also provided philosophies that can be applied elsewhere. For instance, if we remember that when we work we are businessmen selling our labor, we can apply tools we learnt in BMD to that. All in all, really a greater appreciation for this module. Really appreciate that Mr. Sir has delivered BMD so well to us.